going to do tangent. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. So let's look at the 30 degrees. Opposite of the 30 degrees would be 1 over adjacent, which is the square root of 3. So 1 over the square root of 3, sorry. Simplify the radical. So you get the square root of 3 over 3. For the 45 degrees, opposite over adjacent would be 1 over 1. 1 divided by 1 is 1. And then the 60 degrees, opposite over adjacent would be the square root of 3 over 1. So square root of 3. So tomorrow, whenever y'all fill out your whole circle, you'll be using these values. So instead of doing this all over tomorrow, you can use your chart. Make it go a little faster. All right, the question says, how would you find the cosecant of 30 degrees? Okay. Cosecant is sine, the reciprocal of the sine value. So take sine of 30 degrees, and we're going to do the reciprocal of that. So flip it, and the cosecant of 30 degrees would be 2. So if you can remember the sine, cosine, and tangent functions, you can get the other 3. So that's why we only cover these. All right, at the bottom, cofunctions have equal values when their angles are complementary. If you remember, complementary angles add up to be 90 degrees. Okay, so if you look at the ones that add up to be 90, like 30 and 60, 45 and 45, right? It's saying they have equal values when you're talking about cofunctions. And there are only 3 sets of cofunctions because there's only 6 trig functions. But anyway, so you have 3. You have sine and cosine. They're listed on your notes. So sine and cosine are cofunctions. So if I look at sine of 30 degrees and cosine of 60, where they add up to be 90 degrees, you're going to have equal values. Same if I have sine of 60 and sine of 30. They're going to be equal because they're co-functions and they're complementary. Okay, 45 and 45. These angles are complementary, so in my co-functions, they're going to have equal values. So that's another way to help you remember what these values are. If you know what sine is, you can figure out cosine because it's just the opposite. Secant and cosecant are cofunctions, and tangent and cotangent are cofunctions. All right, so let's turn to the next page. Go ahead and fill out your tables using what we figured out on the front and back of the first page. So we're going to fill in sine, cosine, and tangent of all the angles now. All right, so sine of 30 degrees, we got 1/2. 45, we got the square root of 2 over 2. And 60, we got square root of 3 over 2. So like I said, if you know that, then you can find cosine, because they are co-functions. So cosine of 30 would be the square root of 3 over 2. 45 would be the same, and cosine of 60 degrees would be the 1/2. Then you have the tangent of 30 degrees, so square root of 3 over 3, 1, and the square root of 3. Sine of 90 degrees, we found out it was 1, and then 0, 0, -1, 0. Okay, cosine, we have 0, -1, 0, 1. And tangent, we have undefined, 0, undefined, 0. Okay, so we're going to use these tables to figure out the following questions there. Sine of 30, tangent of pi over 3. So what I would do is go ahead and put what these degrees are in radians. You don't have to, but that might help. So 30 degrees is the same thing as pi over 6. 45 is pi over 4. 60, pi over 3. 90 is pi over 2. 180 pi, 270, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi, or 0. Okay, so go ahead and try the next 12 questions. Should be pretty quick because you're just looking at the table. And then we'll check. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick. The numbers are kind of off, so I'll just start at the first one and go down, and then the second column and go down. So sine of 30 degrees, you should have gotten 1/2. Tangent pi over 3 should be square root of 3. Should have gotten 0 for the next 4. Number 4, square root of 2 over 2. 5, 2 square root of 3 over 3. 0, undefined, and then 1 for the last 2. Okay, the last 2 problems, it wants you to solve for x or y, whatever the variable is. So 13, we have a triangle that has a 60-degree angle. So the other one's going to be 30, right? We want to figure out what x is if our hypotenuse is 10. Okay. Now, remember with 30, 60-degree triangles, you're going to have x, 2x, and x square root of 3. Right? So to figure out what x is, you can take that 2x and set it equal to 10, because we know that side is 10. And then you can solve for x. So you have to know your special triangles. The second one, we have a similar triangle. So we have 30 degrees, and then 90, and then the other one is 60, and they give us 100 across from the 60, and they want us to figure out what y is. So remember, across from the 30 degrees is our x, 2x, and x squared root of 3 is across from the 60 degrees. So if we want to figure out what x is, take the side that you know and solve for x. So you'd have to divide by the square root of 3. Simplify the radical. So we want the square root out of the denominator. So you get, so you should get 100 square root of 3 over 3. And that's going to be your y value. Okay, so the notes were kind of long. On your paper today, let's do odds only. And you're just going to fill in the charts on your paper, and then it's like what y'all did here, and tell me what it equals using those tables. So odds only, there is an extra practice paper. What I'm going to do is, you don't have to do the extra practice, but I'm going to put the answers on the calendar. So if you do want extra practice, or if you want an extra kind of review for your quiz Friday, you have some problems that you can check the answers with. Okay, so you can take the extra practice. You don't have to take the extra practice. It's totally up to you. But it's there if you want it. And tomorrow we'll go over reference angles, and then Friday will be your quiz. All right, you'll have a good day.